This is a Sandy Boy Productions podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome to All Have Another podcast with Lindsay Hine. I'm your host, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, man. If I saw you in Indianapolis this weekend, thank you for saying hello. If you came out to our shakeout run or our post-race party, or if you gave me a finish line hug, thank you so much. It was truly the best weekend for the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon. We just had an incredible time. And if you are thinking about a 2026 fall marathon, get it on your list because we're going to run it back and do it all over again. Today, we're still talking about the New York City Marathon, though, and my guest placed fifth at the New York City Marathon not even 2 weeks ago, Annie Frisbie. She was fifth overall in a time of 2:24:12, running an absolutely stellar race. This is coming off her breakthrough Boston Marathon this spring where she ran 2:23:21. Annie debuted the marathon in 2021 in New York City, running a time of 2:26:18, the fourth fastest debut by an American woman on that course ever. Annie is living in Minnesota, trains with Minnesota Distance Elite. She's from Wisconsin, went to Iowa State University, where she was an All-American in cross country, and she runs for Puma. We dive into the New York City Marathon and how that race went down for her, as well as what her training was like and what she's looking forward to in this conversation. Love catching up with Annie, and I'm so happy for her. It was so exciting to see her have such an outstanding performance in New York City. This episode of our podcast today is supported by Amazfit smartwatches. All right, here's the deal. Smartwatches can be expensive, but Amazfit has just the right price. I use the Balance 2, which is engineered as a premium multi-sport training partner. I love that because I love doing all sorts of physical activity. I love to run, I lift, I spin, I pickleball, I elliptical, I do it all. I love it so much. And this is the perfect watch for that. The price point is $299 and it's got a legit battery life. I have only charged my watch 3 times since I got it now, and it holds out so well. It helps you with your recovery as well. It has a sleek, durable design and powerful ecosystem integration. And then they also have the Active 2, which is only $149, showcasing refined craftsmanship. And it features a sleek, square body and polished stainless steel design. They have so many great options on their website. Great battery life, great GPS systems, and great price point. Go to us.amazfit.com to learn more and use the code ANOTHER for a discount. Thank you so much, Amazfit, for supporting the podcast. I am loving my watch. All right, friends, if you enjoy this episode with Annie, leave us a quick rating and review on iTunes or wherever you're listening so potential new listeners can find us. We'll have some great episodes coming out post Indy Monumental as well. And if you are all about the Olympic trials qualifying standard, make sure you're listening to the Road to the Trials podcast because I am co-hosting that show with Peter Bromka and Matt Chittum, and we are on a mission to interview every single person who's qualified for the Olympic trials so far and all the way into 2028. And boy, we had some qualifiers at Indy Monumental. So it's so exciting. We've got a bunch of episodes we are putting out over there. You can also find us on Instagram. I can take zero credit for the Instagram over there. That is not my strong suit. It's Road to the Trials. Peter and Matt are both killing it over there. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm Lindsay Hine 626. All right, friends, please enjoy my conversation with the wonderful Annie Frisbie. All right, friends, so excited to have Annie Frisbie back on the show. Welcome to the podcast, Annie.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. I'm happy to be back.
Congratulations. Big day in New York.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like it already feels like it's so long ago, even though it was a few days ago. Yeah, it was really happy and did a lot of celebrating after. And yeah, it's good to be back home and get some good R&R now.
What did the celebrating look like?
Well, we stayed overnight on Sunday in New York, so we went to there's a Fogo de Chao after party that NYR puts on, and so we went to that in the evening, and then I had my parents there too, so we went out to pizza with them and my coach Chris Lundstrom, and then Joel, who was also running, um, and
Sixth
then
place,
yeah, yeah. Good day for Minnesota Distance Elite.
right?
Yeah, really happy for him too. And then we had another teammate, Elena Hayday, who was there and she got 12th in the women's field. And so that was another great day. I think she was hoping for a little bit more time wise, but I think, that race will come and she'll get it.
Minnesota came to play or came to fight. I don't know what you want to call it.
Both, yeah.
So we got to talk about it. Second fastest American time ever on that course. Wild.
That is wild.
24, fifth place, second American. It's a little bit sad for us spectators because when we're watching on TV, once the pack breaks up, they focus on the top runners. And then they did have a camera back on Fiona, but I didn't know you were in fifth until thankfully the cameras were still at the finish line through, I
Mhm.
think, like eighth place maybe. So I saw you coming into finish. So that was really exciting.
Nice. You probably saw me in so much pain because I was digging to get to the finish and made it.
Tell me about the pain. Like, and because I know in your pre race post, you were like, we all know it's going to hurt. It's just a matter of when and what we do with it. So tell me about like when it started really hurting for you in the race and how you pushed through that.
It honestly went in so many waves because I feel like we went out, chill the first mile, and then we hit some pretty fast miles in the first half marathon. So there was definitely a few miles where I was pushing, but then we would ease back, so I would sort of recover. But the first time where I was like, "Ooh, this is getting hard," is Queensboro Bridge. And I remember that from the first two times I ran New York. I remember that kind of being the point where it started to get pretty hard because it's just so quiet. So really all you're just so aware of how much
Hmm.
pain you're in. It's the first time you really can hear yourself think in the race. So that was sort of when it set in, but then immediately after the bridge is one of the craziest parts on the course, and the crowds are crazy there. So, I sort of got like this jolt of energy after the bridge and felt good for a few miles. And then I would say there were dark moments and good moments the rest of the race. And I feel like the closer you get to the finish, the more short the good moments are and the longer the bad moments are. And so by the end, I think the last mile and 2 miles were the most painful, but that makes sense. It's a marathon. That's when it's going to hurt the most. But it's also, there's just so many people lining the streets in the last mile before you turn back into Central Park for the final finishing stretch. And that part, it just feels so exposing because you're just out there
Hmm.
at the most painful part of the race, and you're just trying to make it to that final turn. And thankfully I was able to make it. But yeah, it's a really weird feeling knowing you're showing so many signs of being in so much pain, and it's just like a microscope, like everyone's just staring at you. But yeah, I made it to the finish and really had to dig deep. Apparently I was tilting my head quite a bit, which is a telltale sign
Really?
that I'm hurting. I don't know why I do it. It's something I've always done. And so, yeah, it was definitely hurting by the end, but it was, worth it, of course.
Break it down for us. Like when were you in fifth place or like when the pack broke apart, were you always in that spot?
So the pack first broke apart right before half marathon, and at that point I was sort of by myself. Stefan passed me right on the half marathon bridge, and she was surging, so I
I
could tell
remember
she
seeing that.
was, she was trying to regain contact with that front pack, and I could still see them at that point, but, I was definitely starting to do my own thing at the halfway mark, and then when you cross the half marathon mark, there was an announcer saying, like, "Good job, Annie," and then I could hear the announcer say, "Good job, Emily Sisson. Good job, Emily
Okay.
Silvestri," and it wasn't far after me, so I was like, "Oh, they're right there," so I
Uh-huh.
have to can't let off the gas or anything. They're right there. They're chasing me down too.
Wow, what a
And
feeling.
yeah, a little bit scary. So I was running, confident, but a little bit, I was aware that they were on my heels. And from, yeah, basically just before the half to, I want to say like mile 21 or 22, I was just solo. And then Jess Warner Judd, I could start to tell that someone was coming up, and I honestly thought it was Amanda or Emily Sisson. But then when she eventually caught me, I saw that it was Jess, and I was like, "Oh, Jess!" And then I was like, "Maybe I'll try to run with her for 2 seconds or as long as I can." But she was going a much faster pace, so she was in front of me for about, I wanna say 1 or 2 miles, and, she had a 15-second gap on me at one point, but I think she, ran out of gas at some point and
Mm,
started to
mhm.
slow, and, I guess I don't know if I was getting faster or just staying consistent, but eventually I did repass her again and held off, and then I think it was mile 24, or 23 or 24, I could see Safan in front of me. And I was aware, oh, she must have gone too hard to try to catch at the front pack. She's clearly hurting. And I slowly just reeled her in and I tried to take the tangents whenever possible. I noticed she wasn't really taking the tangents.
Mm.
So I was
Oh, that was
taking
her
the
first New
tangents.
York, huh?
I think so, I'm pretty sure, yeah, and when you're hurting, you're not always thinking about tangents either, but I
Yeah.
was really trying to make a game plan to pass her, so I was taking the tangents, and I think I passed her with, just a mile or maybe mile and a half to go, and
Wow.
I passed her and I just didn't look back because I didn't wanna, show any signs of weakness, but she's
Assertive.
also, gold medalist, so I wanna,
Right?
make sure I'm, still pushing the pace to try to hold my position and, sort of deter her from trying to, fight back for that, 6th, 7th gear, and so from there on, it was just sort of digging deep into whatever my body had left. And yeah, I get to that finish line, and it was at that stretch, that final stretch, like it seems like it's going to be so short, but it's kind of a long way to the finish line. But yeah, so many cheers, so many amazing people out there. So it was a lot of fun at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anything can give you the confidence that, like, you belong on an Olympic team, you belong on a podium, is the fact that you passed the Olympic gold medalist in the marathon in this race and placed 5th in a stacked field of really strong women.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that the marathon, everyone's human, even gold medalists, and the marathon can be so cruel if you go hard too soon, or, if one little thing is off, it can really fall apart quickly. And it's a lot of, there's a lot of work that is in the lead up, but on the race day, there's so many things that are out of your control. And I think I did a really good job of trying to run my own race and not get in my head too much when the pain was setting in, or if I could tell someone was on my heels, or even like counting myself out with Safan being in front of me. I think
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to sort of pass her, and yeah, I was happy with my mindset in the race, and it definitely gives me a lot of confidence moving forward for whatever marathon I do next.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Like seeing someone like Safan in front of you and not being like, well, I'm already working really hard and she's an Olympic gold medalist. So I'll just hold on right here. You like very assertively were like, no, I have it. I can pass her. Doesn't matter who she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean, no, I feel like it was something that was a fun sort of secondary race within the race for me
Yeah.
because, the front pack, something really crazy would have had to happen for me to catch
Yeah.
them. They were obviously not in eyesight, and so it gave me something to chase, and yeah, I mean, everyone everyone has their days, so you never know.
Everyone, yeah. How much do you think, because we all, listeners might not know, but if they've been following you, they know you debuted in New York and you had a really good race on in that debut.
Mhm.
How much of the fact that like now you've run this course, well, now 3 times, but you'd run it twice before, played into your like ability to run the tangents and like ability to like stay out of your head when you're like, okay, I can hear myself now. I'm on the Queensboro Bridge and like you kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, I think tangents wise, I really do have a terrible memory with courses, especially for the marathon. I feel like my brain just sort of blocks it out of my memory. But for the tangents, I feel like sometimes you can just see the line when you're on the
Mm.
road. And so I was just focusing on, seeing that and yeah, just trying to take that whenever possible. Um, and what was your second question?
Just, like, knowing what to do mentally when, like, on the Queensboro Bridge or just, like, when you're
Yeah.
going up Fifth Ave and you know that it's this, like, really long, torturous climb that's, like, not very steep, but it's there. Just I guess the question is knowing the course and knowing that you've been there before, how did that help you?
I do think knowing the Queensboro Bridge is probably one of the most important parts of the course, and I remember that vividly from the first time I raced there. I felt so good, and then we hit Queensboro Bridge, and just it was such a different shift in the vibe of the pack and the environment, just with it being quiet. You're going uphill for a lot of it, and I remember that is the point when it got hard the first time I ran it, and then the second time I ran it, I remember that being hard too, and, I know how hard Central Park can be as well because it's, just at the end, and it's hilly as well, and, there's moves being made there still. So I do think having run it a few other times definitely helped me. And yeah, I feel like each time I run a race, I kind of remember something from the first time where, if someone asked me beforehand, maybe I wouldn't be able to remember it all. But then once you're in it, you're like, oh yeah, I remember this part, I remember feeling good here, feeling bad there, all those things.
Hey, hey, friends. Cornbread Hemp is the place to go if you're looking for amazing THC and CBD products. I am a huge fan of their seltzers and gummies. They've got great sleep gummies. You're going to want to start with like 2 milligrams. I have the 10 milligram gummies and I just cut them in half and take 5. I can't tell you how much better these are than alcohol. If you're looking for a way to relax a little bit and you just want to kick back, check them out. No hangovers, no disrupted sleep, just chill vibes. And these are made in the United States, in Kentucky. They are lab tested, USDA organic. You can learn more and check them out at cornbreadhemp.com/another. Go to that landing page and that'll get you 30% off your order. cornbreadhemp.com/another. All right, friends, please enjoy the rest of my conversation with Annie Frisbie. So now this is you also placed second American at Boston. And
Yes.
so now you've done this again. How does it feel to kind of be on that trajectory? Like, okay, now I'm regularly in the top 10 at these major marathons. I'm regularly one of the top Americans. Tell me how you process that.
I guess not really. I'm very proud of my accomplishments so far, but I feel like I've had the confidence that I can do that for a long time. So it just feels like the races have sort of started to come together on the
Mm.
right day. I feel like, I've always had that confidence though of, that's where I belong and I can do XYZ. And, I still have so many more goals in the sport that I want to accomplish. So I'm by no means like, "All right, I got 5th. I'm done."
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Totally.
I feel like there's always another carrot to chase and another, person to beat, another PR. There's so many things to do in the sport.
Well, I had mentioned in your post, you said, like, "We know the pain is gonna come." I don't know how you said it, but, you what are we gonna do with it? How are we gonna manage it? And I'm curious over these years, like, have you been talking to sports psych and, like a sports psych, and, like, how do you work through that? Obviously, like, having the calluses of doing the more you do it, the better you get at understanding how to handle it. How are you
Mhm.
getting better at that each year?
Yeah, I think for the mental side of things, I do a lot of visualization on my easy run days. And just I've this last build, I feel like I've gotten really into sort of mantras and like manifesting, I guess, which is sort of just another branch of visualization. And I think, maybe my old self would be a lot more negative talk. And I always thought that negative talk worked for me, like, almost like yelling at yourself in a race, I guess, but I
Like,
think
"Go, go,
the
go," kinda thing, or what?
yeah, yeah, but I think this time around I really sort of flipped and doing a lot of positive talk, or not even positive, but just, like, confident that I can do it to myself, and I think that's helped a lot, and I think, doing all those visualizations in the lead up, once you come to race day, I feel like it's a lot easier to get through those hard moments if you have those sort of, mantras to call on, or, um, I think just practicing zoning out too. And, in the marathon, it's important to shut your brain off for at least a little bit, and so I think doing that in practice is great too. And, it's not something that just comes naturally, you have to practice that. So those are the things mentally that I've been doing. I don't work with a sports psych at the moment, but, I know a lot of people who do, and it works really well for them.
How do we turn our brains off? How do you do that?
I feel like I don't know if it always works, but, like, it mostly works for me is, routine. I feel like routine, allows my brain to shut off, so, like, on my easy runs, I feel like that's when I do most of my visualization. I'll do, like, the same route every day, so my body's just on autopilot, and then I think with my body on autopilot, I'm able to let my mind sort of run and let it do its own thing and zone out. And then I feel like just listening to music too helps me
Oh,
zone
you
out,
do?
but that's just what works for me, so everyone's different.
But you do that that's interesting to me that because then in practicing, you do that, you listen to music, but obviously, you don't do workouts and, like, races with music.
Right,
So,
no.
that's interesting that that translates then, like, you learn to turn your brain off while listening to it, but then you turn it off without it while racing and working out.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's just what works. I can't explain it.
Okay, what are we listening to?
I really like, movie soundtracks, so I
Oh, I
love
love that.
Hans Zimmer. I think his name is Ramin Djawadi. He does, like, the Game of Thrones soundtrack.
Oh,
Really love, like, classical music. I feel like music without lyrics really also helps with
okay.
zoning out,
That
because then
makes
I'm not
sense.
thinking about the lyrics. So those are I would say that's what I'm listening to currently.
I was getting a massage, like, a month ago, and I don't watch Game of Thrones, but the person giving my massage apparently does, and whatever the
Okay.
background music came on, you know how they always have, like, this, like, low key, like, calming music when you get a massage?
Yeah.
Apparently, it was, like, some Game of Thrones theme song, and he
That
just
is
started
not massage
cracking.
music.
No! And he just started cracking up, and he was like, "What is going on?" Because it's like a franchise, like, Hand and Stone place, so, like,
Oh,
it's not like
yeah.
his playlist.
Oh, I see.
Um,
Okay, okay.
and then he
That's
was like, "You
so
don't watch
funny.
Game of Thrones? I can't believe it."
Yeah, Game of Thrones soundtrack doesn't really put you in the relaxing mindset.
Okay, so you are coached by Chris Lundstrom still. Same coach Dakota is coached by. Is there anything you did differently during this training that you haven't done before? Like any new things that you tried?
Nothing too crazy. It's We did a few new workouts. At least for me, it was my first time doing them. But otherwise, for the most part, is pretty similar to what we've done in the past, and just sort of stacking those workouts on top of each other. I really do think consistency is what, makes a good season and a good build. And, I thankfully had a good Boston build. And then I think that fitness also carried over into the summer and now fall.
I love that. Yeah, I'm thinking about it as I'm listening to you answer that question. Like, so the consistency in the building is what, helps you have stronger seasons year after year. But like, at what point do you like think I need to do something different to like spice it up a little bit? But then also it's like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So like, let's just keep going forward with what we're doing.
Yeah,
How do
I
you make
think
those decisions?
for me this time around, so before Boston, I had a hamstring injury, and then leading into Boston, I was finally able to get it into a good place, good enough place for Boston, and did well there. But the hamstring is just like one of those injuries that I've never had a muscle injury before, and I find that I still have to stay on top of it. So I still have to do PT, massage, acupuncture, strength, all these things to keep it happy. And if I let up for like a week, it gets super angry and it feels like I take two steps back. So this time around, I don't think we felt like there was a need to do anything extra crazy or extra spicy. It was really just let's keep the body healthy, and
Mhm.
we don't need to do anything crazy now. We just need to do just what we've always done. And then, maybe once my hamstrings indestructible, hopefully that's one day. Maybe then we can do
Okay.
something exciting and, throw in some fancy workout or something. I don't know.
Yeah. You clearly don't need to right now anyway, because
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
mean,
were
at
doing
some
worked.
point, you wanna sort of, do some more experimenting, but this build didn't
Yeah.
necessarily feel like the time for experimenting.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Do you go to the same acupuncturist as Dakota?
I don't, but I know who her acupuncturist is, but I actually go to a different
Okay.
acupuncturist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she's the one who got me on acupuncture.
Really? Dakota?
Yes. Yes,
And
because
how
she
do you
kept
like it?
talking about it. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it.
Same. Yeah, I
I
was so skeptical at first too, but then I was like, "Wait, this actually helps." I
Wait,
don't
did she get
understand.
you on it too?
No, I think I got her on it. Yeah, and then she started seeing, her acupuncturist, and, but yeah, I go to a different place, but, it really does work, and yeah, don't understand the why behind it, but I'm not gonna question it. It works.
No, I started going for this, like, bursitis I had in my foot, but
Uh-huh.
then I have this other weird arm condition, it's called brachial pruritus, it's so strange, it's like an
Okay.
itchy arm thing, and
Interesting.
I went for my foot, but the way he helped my arms is
Really?
crazy,
Yeah.
and then I would, like, go in on certain days, and he could tell I was, like, really high strung, and he'd be
Mhm.
like, "What's going on?" And then he would do all the,
Yes.
like, stress ones, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't live without it now."
Yeah, I feel like my acupuncturist always knows things without me telling them. I'm like, "How?
Yes.
I don't understand." Reading
It's
my
like he
mind.
reads my energy when you
Yes,
walk in.
it's really crazy how it works.
So I think even though I'm not gonna be going for my foot anymore, like, specific for that, um, I'm just gonna keep going once a month for, like, overall health,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
stress.
I notice it helps a ton. Like, one of the issues I was having with my hamstring specifically was just getting blood flow in that area because
Yeah.
you're sitting on it a lot, and I also just have, like, very cold hands and feet, so I feel like I'm not getting enough, and so it somehow helps with that too, and then, yeah, just stress too, like, it really does help with that leading up to race week, or, whenever too.
It's all about that nervous system.
It is. It's crazy
I
how
mean,
much it affects you, yeah.
y'all didn't know this was an acupuncture advertisement.
Yeah.
We're not affiliated with any specific doctor, but we're just telling you it
We're just
helps.
advertising it in general.
Yes. Did you I know it doesn't it you maybe could sync up a little bit because she ran Chicago, but did you and Dakota get to do workouts together at all during this cycle?
We did our team meets 3 times a week, and I got to, run with Dakota on long run days, but then workout days, she was, ahead of me and doing a little bit different stuff just with for New York, we were doing some more hill
Mm.
stuff,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, she was just, like, way fitter than me, so I don't even think I could keep up with her in her workouts. But we also just didn't quite line up. But I did a lot of my workouts with my other teammate, Elena Hayday, who did New York, and
Okay.
it was awesome to work out with her too. I haven't gotten the chance to do a build up with her yet. And yeah, it was really fun getting to know her more. And I'm excited for her too. I feel like she's got, big things ahead of her. And she wasn't super like overly thrilled with her race, even though was like 12th. That's amazing. But when it's your own, you don't, yeah, that's annoying when people say that. But
Yeah, yeah.
I really do feel like that chip on her shoulder will sort of lead her to a really good one, so I'm excited for her.
Yeah, we need to get her on the radar a little bit more. I'll have to have her on my show. She is new to me for sure. So,
Lena, she was very smart, and I think she really ran her own race, and, she she was very consistent throughout. I think she had a little bit of, GI issues around mile
okay.
24, so just unfortunate timing, but still an amazing day.
And what made you decide to do New York over Chicago?
New York is my favorite marathon, and so I knew I wanted to come back, especially having so much fun at Boston. They're kind of similar
Okay.
vibes in, they're both tactical races. You just never know how they're going to go out. And I think those types of courses kind of play to my strengths right now. And I did Chicago last fall and I didn't have a good day. And so I think sometimes when you have a
Mm,
bad day somewhere, sometimes you just need to like give it a year or so to sort of get over it. And so I
mhm.
didn't really consider going to Chicago this year. I definitely wanna go back at some point, but I feel like I need to give it some time before heading back.
You like a more tactical race in general, though, like over like time trialing it, like we're trying to run as fast as we can.
I think so. I think I'm able to get a lot more out of myself when I'm surrounded by the group of elite women. In my experience at both Chicago and I did Berlin, which is another fast course and more
Hmm.
time trial-y, both it was just a very different experience where, everyone is sort of just like on an island where you're all sort of doing your own thing even though you start at the same time, everyone, has their pacer and a specific time they're trying to hit, and that I would love to do that someday. I think as of right now, though, I'm just able to get a little bit more out of myself when I'm competing, next to the woman right by me. Yeah, racing the clock doesn't I as of right now, I feel like it's not quite the same, but I definitely wanna get to a point where I'm able to balance both.
So you debuted in 2021,
Mhm.
only 4 years ago. Where do you feel like you are in your career? Like now you feel like you got a little seasoning, but you're still fresh to it. Like, where do you see yourself in this like career and world of marathoning?
Yeah, I guess I feel still early, but you're right, like, definitely more seasoned from when I first debuted. I went into the marathon just super naive, which I think was
But you
good for the
killed
first
it.
Yeah, yeah, I think being naive was actually probably a good thing for that first one, but then eventually, you don't have that a day in the marathon and
Yeah.
learning a lot from those experiences has led to, great races now, I think. And not to say I won't have another bad marathon, but, I think I've learned a lot from those. And I hope to be, I hope to have several years in front of me. So I still feel like I'm early in my career, but
Mm.
each year, learning more, getting stronger, all those things.
You really are in like really exciting spot because who was it? Rory Linkletter that I recently interviewed
Oh,
post
yeah.
Chicago. Like he
Yeah.
was just saying like the more marathons you can run, the better at it that you're going to get. So
Yeah.
like
That's so true.
you're such a good spot because like now you're really starting to stack them up, but like there's still so much time ahead. So that's super super exciting. Um what would you say, you said like you've learned so much from the ones that didn't go so well. What would you say is like one of the biggest things you did learn from one of those marathons that didn't go how you expected them or wanted them to go?
I think the two that stand out the most to me was New York 2022. That year, I had a really good season leading up to it. But after my last race before running the marathon that year was the Twin Cities 10 mile. And I did really well there. I got second, ran really fast. But then after that, I started noticing some pain in my foot. And
Hmm.
instead of like taking a step back, I, just powered through. And I think it ended up being a stress fracture, for sure after New York. I waited till after New York to get imaging.
Mm.
But I think the lesson I learned from that one was, so you need to listen to your body when it's giving you those signs. And I definitely had the mentality of, I need to push through this no matter what, which that's not the case. I mean, it just led to a heartbreaking race. It led to, a really long road to recovery. And I think that was a lesson that I had to learn. And I'm still kind of learning that, but that was a hard lesson. And then I think another rough marathon for me was the Olympic trials. And I think that one, I counted myself out of the race way too early. And
Hmm.
the lesson I learned with that one was, there's so many miles in the marathon and it can turned around in an instant. So never lose hope. And I think I lost hope in that race. And I think
Hmm.
moving forward, I've been able to learn from that and always hold out a little bit of hope that you can, catch the person in front of you or, accomplish those goals.
Wow. That's interesting to me. I didn't know that you had those feelings at the Olympic trials. You still placed pretty high though.
I was 10th.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's not what you wanted, but yeah, like what could you have crawled yourself to maybe if that mentality would have been a little bit stronger?
Totally, yeah, like, because I mean, you hear it all the time, running is, 90% mental or whatever the percentage is.
Yeah.
I definitely just sort of let my mind go, and then when you let your mind go, your body follows, and, then you start hurting more than you would maybe if you were in a more positive mindset, so, yeah, but those are I don't think I would have learned that without those rough races either.
It reminds me when you say that with your mind. Did you ever read Dina Castor's book?
I did, yeah, and I loved her book. It
Okay.
was so good. Yeah, and she
Yeah, it
talks a lot
reminds
about
me,
that
let your
too
mind
is
run.
yes, yeah. I feel like that's the main thread of her book is, you know, framing things in a more positive light sets you up for, enjoying the process, enjoying the race, all those things.
Yeah, I always think about how she says, like, how am I showing up right now? Like,
Mhm.
in this last bit of this race. So, like, when you pass Safan Hassan, like, how am I going to like define my character right now by like how I show up? Am I going to give up or am I going to like pass like it matters, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm not speaking nearly as eloquently as her, but it's just I'm thinking about it a lot because I'm about to MC the Monumental Marathon this weekend, and just like
Yeah.
there's you always have those moments in races where you're like, do I give up a little bit? Do I? You
Yeah.
know?
You're bargaining with yourself when it hurts, and it's tough to like, not give in to that little voice, but that's why I think it's so important to do it in practice because, if you're not letting yourself, have those negative thoughts in practice, then odds are you won't have it happen in a race either.
How do you know at the end of the race that you left nothing to spare?
Oof. Um, I
Can you know
guess,
that?
yeah, I feel like every marathon, I feel that way. I've never finished a marathon like, "Oh, I could have
There's a little bit more
done."
in there.
Even if it's like, "Oh, I could have ran it smarter," or whatever, I never feel like there's something left. I think there's something about that last mile or 2 that if you do have something left, you use it, and
Yeah.
it's gone by the time you finish. So, yeah, for New York, that was definitely the case. It was focus on passing's fine and getting 5th, and then hold on and, try not to have her reattach and, um, yeah, just use whatever little energy was left because, it's not over till it's over, like they say, because Safan could have come back or someone else could have
Yeah.
come back and caught me at the very end. So just because I was in 5th at mile 24 doesn't mean I was going to be in 5th at mile 26.
Hey, everybody. If you're looking for an amazing pillow to support your needs, look no further than Lagoon. They're launching early access to their Black Friday sale now, and that sale will be going through Cyber Monday at least. Now, normally I have a discount code for 15% off when you use the code Lindsay, but there's a limited supply of some of their popular models and sizes that often sell out during this sale. So, we are encouraging listeners to shop early while supplies last. This is a great holiday gift idea. So here are the highlights, guys. $25 off every pillow, $60 off 2 pillows, $160 off 4 pillows. That's $40 off each, and 50% off pillowcases with the purchase of a pillow. Automatic discount applied, no code required. Now, listen. The Polar Bear reversible adjustable cooling pillow, just don't even think about it. Go get that pillow. It is amazing. If you're a hot sleeper like me, there is nothing better. They also have a new travel compression bag for full-size pillows. Hello, I need that. And the Cooling Flex Pillow Performance. This is their biggest sale of the year. It's happening right now through Black Friday. Get $25 off every Lagoon pillow, 60 off 2 or 160 off 4. No code needed. If you've been thinking about it, now's the time to do it. Go to lagoonsleep.com, take the 2-minute sleep quiz, and find your perfect pillow. Don't wait until Black Friday. Early access is live now. All right, friends, Lagoon Sleep. Go check them out. My favorite pillows ever. Back to the show. I always find these things fascinating with pro runners. I guess it could even be with someone who's going after a risky, like right on the line goal. That's an everyday athlete as well. Is like we can use Dakota as an example in Chicago. Like, how do you make the decisions? Like, I'm going to be risky today. I have a
Mhm.
really audacious goal and I'm going after that time. Or like I'm going to cover this move at mile 18, even though I think it's risky. But if I detach from this group, there's no hope left. Like, how do you just make those decisions as they unfold? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess in my mind, for this one specifically, it was never even a thought that it was risky going out. Like when it started to pick up at mile 2, my thought was just, I'm gonna be with the front pack. I don't even care what the watch says. As long as I feel okay doing it, like, I'm not gonna worry about time. And I think I'm usually that mindset for a lot of races is not being married to the watch of what it tells me we're going. And I think that can get me into a lot of trouble, but it can also lead me to really great days. So it's kind of like there's good and bad sides to having that mindset. But I think that's sort of how I look at any race is, even even if I'm not 100%, I'm going with the front pack and I'll be there for as long as
Okay.
possible.
Okay. Okay. That's the strategy. I love that. And then It's different in New York than Chicago, obviously.
Yes,
But
yeah.
are you like not a watch looker ever?
I do look at my watch sometimes. I will say, so for past races, I've tried doing, like, the manual lapping,
Uh
so it's
huh.
more accurate, but I just find that I forget every time, and so I'm just in I'm clueless what pace I'm going, so I just left it on normal GPS, and sometimes it felt accurate, sometimes it was like, "You're running a 4:25." I'm like, "I'm not running a 4:25." So but you had to kind of put into context, I guess, and figure out what you're actually going. But it always gets a little bit off in races. So I kind of knew what pace we were going, but not 100%, which is totally fine.
Okay, kind of a boring question, but it seems like you really nailed your nutrition. Is that something you've been like dialing in, or have you had that nailed down for a while?
I would say since Boston, um, I do the UCAN gels. I alternate caffeinated and regular for each of the bottles, and then in the actual bottles, I do just water and then some electrolytes. And that
Okay.
worked really well for Boston, and so I did it again for this one, and it worked well again. I think for me, I'm just able to actually get down the whole gel, whereas I was doing just drink mixes before, and I just couldn't get enough in. And
Mm.
by the end, I was really suffering because I just didn't have enough fuel early on in the race. But for the gels, I'm actually able to take the full gel, and I think probably just because it's a little less volume, I think my stomach can handle it a little bit better. So yeah, I feel like I've found what works for me, and who knows, maybe that'll change down the line. But feel confident in my fueling strategy for right now.
So good. I want to ask you what you're excited about, but as I say it, I'm like, Lindsay, New York was 4 days ago. She's excited about
It just
placing fifth at the
happened.
New York City Marathon.
That's so funny because I was actually just sitting down yesterday. I keep an Excel spreadsheet of, like, all the races I wanna do for the upcoming season, and I was already filling that
You
out
were.
for for
Okay.
2026, so even though it's only a
Good.
few days ago, I'm already looking at that, but, not too seriously yet, but no, I'm
Yeah.
excited for so many things. I feel like, the marathon's definitely my favorite event, but I like doing shorter distances too, so hopefully we'll do, some shorter distances before whatever spring marathon, I end up doing, but I really like doing the spring fall cycle, and then shorter distances in between. I know some people fit in 3 marathons, but I think for me
Whew.
that just feels like a little bit much, and then some people do 1 marathon, and, I feel like for me, then I kind of forget what it's like to run a marathon, so, I like doing 2 a year typically.
And then do you all sync up at all with other Puma athletes ever? Like I know Fiona's out here in North Carolina, but like
Mhm,
there are quite a few people that run Chicago and New York that were also on Puma team. Like
mhm.
how does that work?
Yeah, I feel like we all kind of know each other just through that connection of the same sponsor. Last year, Dakota and I were in North Carolina training, for the
I
winter.
still can't believe I never like met you guys for dinner or anything.
I
That was
know.
so dumb. I should have
Maybe if we're
made that
back this
happen.
year, we'll have to do that.
Do you think you'll come back?
I think that's what we're thinking
Oh,
for at least a little
okay.
bit. So we will
We'll
definitely
definitely do that
keep
then.
you
Okay.
posted. But when we were in training in North Carolina, we were able to use the same track that the Puma Elite team
Mm.
uses, and we weren't doing the same workouts as them, but I think just being on the same track at the same time is helpful sometimes. But then I feel like I've just gotten to know Fiona a little bit better over the years, and seeing Taylor row too.
Oh yeah.
Everyone, I've never met a mean runner, so I feel like you can get along with everyone.
Right. Yeah, that's totally true. I feel like
Mhm.
Puma and Brooks are the 2 brands right now that have been having, I don't know, just big moments, like, just fun to
True,
watch the
Brooks has too,
teams.
yeah. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like
Oh, Amanda Vestry, shout out to that debut.
I know, her debut was amazing. It was really exciting to see her have so much success on the day.
Did it make you reminisce on your debut in New York? Because she kinda had a similar debut as you.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, better, like, time-wise, better for sure, and I feel like she just has so much confidence and such a level head. She, was very frank, like, I'm gonna run my own race and do my own thing. And even if that didn't necessarily end up happening, she still remained very steady throughout the race and very confident that, she was gonna have a good day. And yeah, it's been really fun to see her not only succeed in the marathon now, but the half marathon too. I'm excited for, what she's gonna do in the next few years.
So we are recording this 4 days post New York City Marathon. Have you run at
I
all?
have not run. No, I'm taking a few days off. I'll probably try like a shakeout run in a few days.
Okay. So
And
give yourself like
then
a whole week almost?
probably we'll see. I feel like my legs are coming around now. So I've been going for walks in the morning. But I feel like taking at least a few days, and then we'll slowly ease back into it.
Would you say you're a Minnesota lifer?
I do love Minnesota. I would say the winters are the major downside. So, um, I really liked going somewhere slightly warmer just for, at least a month. I think even if it's just a month, it really does help get through the Minnesota winter. But then outside of winter, I feel like it's only pros. So, it's
Mm.
beautiful every other time of year, so much nature, such good running. I know I've family not far away in Wisconsin, so it's easy to see them. And yeah, I feel like I've just sort of laid some roots here, so it feels like home.
So, because did you originally land there because of Minnesota Distance Elite and Chris Lundstrom?
Yes, yeah, I joined the team in 2019, and I got a job out here as a graphic designer. So that was both the team and my first job, were the reasons why I came back to Minnesota.
Are you still working as a graphic designer at all?
No, no, I haven't been working since just before the trials, basically, 2024.
Okay,
So, yeah, it's been I guess, over a year now of just running, and I've been loving it. It's been awesome.
good. Yeah, I feel like we probably talked about that last time I had you on, but I couldn't remember. Yay, that's so good. Okay, well, let's wrap up here. I'm trying to think of a good way to wrap up since we don't need to do end a podcast. We've done that before with you. Maybe share. Is there anything you're listening to, watching? What are you enjoying outside of running right now?
Oh, so many things. I am watching Parks and Rec for the first time,
Oh,
and
first timer.
I tried to get into it a few years ago, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, this just isn't for me. I only gave it I think I only watched the first episode, and I was like, I'm not watching this. But then restarted it this year, and I love it. It's just such a funny show. It's an easy watch.
Good.
And then along with that, I love podcasts, and Amy Poehler has a podcast, so a lot of Amy Poehler, but she has a good podcast, very uplifting, very funny. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast, The Telepathy Tapes. Um,
No.
well, they are on their second season, so I've been listening to that. It's very good.
Is it like about mind reading or something?
Well, I don't even know how to describe. So the first season is focused mainly on people who, I guess, yeah, I don't know what the scientific word is, but telepathy. And then the second season so far is focusing on like savant syndrome, when people say when people have had near death experiences, have like things that they saw then. So it kind of bounces all
Wait, does
over,
that
but
make you feel less scared or does that is it a comforting thing?
it's really not comforting. I would say it's very neutral. It kind of approaches it from like a research aspect.
Okay.
But it is comforting too. I guess more comforting. It's not scary at all,
Okay. Okay.
in my
Okay.
opinion. So I like
Okay.
that one. And then, yeah, I just, Florence and the Machine just came out with a new album, so I loved her new album.
Oh, I gotta listen to that.
And yeah,
I didn't
so
know
many
that.
things.
Um, yes, I have listened to Amy's podcast. I love that she's like, I don't want you to be better. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't care if
Yes,
like she's like, I'm
yes,
not trying to get you to up level your life. I just want to entertain you here.
exactly. I always listen to it on the way home from, like, when we go to lifting, and I feel like in the car, I'm just laughing, dying laughing the whole time I'm listening to it, so it's a good one.
Yeah, and I love that sometimes with podcasts it can be annoying when there's like a lot of inside baseball talk, but like I
Mm,
do love the behind the scenes talk, like when she has like Andy Samberg or someone from SNL on and you get like a little
yeah.
bit of a picture of what it's like in their
Yes. Yeah. It
work
is
days. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, everyone sounds like an amazing time, but also super stressful from everything they've said.
I love it. Okay, let's send everybody off with just let's give an Annie Frisbie message for anybody who's like chasing a goal or has a big dream with their own running. What would you tell them to do?
Oh, I would say just stay the course and keep chipping away at your goals. I think the saying small daily wins is, very true. Like, just focus on what you can do on the day and, in the hour and in the minute to get better, and enjoy the process along the way too. It doesn't have to be this some super serious thing. Make sure you're having fun while you're doing it.
So good. Annie Frisbie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Annie, for coming on the podcast. And it was so awesome to hear about your New York City marathon. Amazing. If you all are not already following Annie on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. Go follow her. Annie Frisbie, just the letter B, 3 on Instagram. You can find me. I'm Lindsay Hines, 626 on Instagram. Learn more about this show and all the shows in our network at sandyboyproductions.com. Go check out the Road to the Trials podcast and the Relay podcast. I'm the co-host on one of the co-hosts on both of those shows. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week on I'll Have Another with Lindsay Hine podcast.